Welcome to Fighting Words. Mike Straka along with Mike Madlab Marvin Vettori headlining fight this weekend. Marvin, welcome to the show, man. I had not had the pleasure of interviewing you, but I've seen so many of your interviews and you're such an entertaining person. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, what do you think? He's a pretty game opponent, but then again, everybody in the UFC is. What are your thoughts for this weekend?
Yeah, man, he's a solid guy. He's solid. With that being said, I think I'm more solid. So, yeah, he doesn't have major flaws, but at this level, is the attention to details. I think that went into this camp that is going to make the difference. And yeah, I think the more the fight, the more the fight goes on, the more I'm going to take over. And yeah, he won't expect a few things that I'm going to bring to this fight because nobody ever saw it. And yeah, I just think I'm better than him, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to show.
Well, you're constantly improving your game. You just mentioned you're going to bring some things in he's never seen before. I'm not going to ask you what those are, obviously, but how have you improved your game? And from camp to camp, do you see yourself improving?
For sure. That's why I don't even feel like I'm in my prime yet, because I keep improving, and I always find new ways to that I can do better and that I can implement in my game. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys are gonna see the best version of myself. I believe the last camp played out for this camp, helped me out for this camp. Like, it's always been like almost like a long camp. And that's what I'm happy about. Like, I'm definitely more sharp this fight. Everything fell into place much better this fight around.
He's an interesting guy. If you look at his resume, I mean, he's a guy who was at heavyweight, went down to light heavyweight, came down to middleweight. He carried his power down with him. He's real into the whole crystal game. He's actually a hard guy not to like. I know, like, sometimes you come into fights with animosity. You know what I mean? So, like, it's really not much. Did you do anything different this camp? Did you bring anybody different in, or is it kind of business as usual? Same guys, same approach?
No, I started him well. I started him a lot. And again, like for the same reason why it doesn't have major flaws, you have to sharpen the tools up. You have to make sure physically and mentally you're very sharp. But with that being said, it's not gonna be like an obvious hole that you're gonna exploit. You're gonna have to like figure it out in the fight a lot, and that's what I train. I just everything is sharp. Fundamentals are there. Mentally, I'm super ready. I worked everywhere. Didn't leave no stone unturned, and I'm gonna go out there and like a lot of things are gonna be figured out in the fight. My ability to make change and an adjustment through the fight has improved a lot, I think, and that's what I will do. I think that's the major thing. Like, with a fighter like that, you're not gonna go out and you're gonna be like, I know he's lacking there like 100%. No, you might edge him on things, and slowly you'll exploit those mistakes, but you're not gonna be like, oh, like you can't do this, you can't do that. Nah, he's on some things you're better, and that's you're gonna bring the fight where you want it to be.
Well, you're 25 fights into your pro career. We interview a lot of fighters. Obviously, we've been doing it since like 2001. How old are you?
29.
Yeah, you were still in grade school when I was doing this. But most guys, they say, I'm not worried about my opponent. I'm worried about me. I work on what I work on, and whatever he brings. You'll be ready. Is that sort of the mentality you bring in every fight?
Yes, but at the same time, at the highest level, look at John Jones. John Jones studied it. You got to learn from the best at the end of the day. And I'm sure John Jones he focuses on what he does too. But what he does, he goes and he like studies his opponent like meticulously. Like very like specifically, and he's not scared of his opponent. He just wants to know what he does. Like he just want to study him very well. And that's what I tried to take a page out of his book.
Well, John Jones has Yoda, in other words, Greg Jackson, studying his opponents for him. Who do you have in your camp that helps you out in that area of studying your opponents?
Oh, my coach. I mean, I brought my Italian coach, my striking Italian coach here is called Max Lepucci. Dewey Cooper is on my corner. Jason Melli, my longtime friend and coach, Emanuele Lochner. This is going to be my corner. All of us together, Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, in general, and myself too. At the end of the day, as a team, we all have to study him, and yeah. So. That's what I've been doing, to be honest, just paying a lot of attention to little things that he does and that I can exploit.
I know it's not good to look ahead. Like, I know that's not the right thing to do, but I'm an Italian guy. One of my partners is Italian, so we always watched you. We always looked at you as if there's going to be an Italian guy that's going to come out and get the strap, it's going to be Vettori. So I kind of put things together sometimes. And if you look at where you're sitting in the rankings right now, do you sometimes feel like you're in kind of a tough predicament when it comes to, you have Izzy at number 1 right now. You fought him twice. You have Whitaker, obviously number 2, fighting Duplessis. Is there a part in your mind where you kind of hope that maybe Duplessis beats Whitaker? So there's possibly not that, because you're kind of in that no man's land right now where you're sitting in that group. You're sitting in that group in the top 4, top 5. You got Cannonier trying to take your island. You defend that, but now you're in a situation where there's 3 guys that one of them beat you twice, one of them beat you once. And it's where do you go from there? So is there situations?
Yeah, these are logical thoughts that you can think of, and then there is sometimes the UFC going off and do whatever the hell they want.
They do whatever they want. Yeah,
this happens all the time. So what did I do? I stopped thinking about it. So, all my focus is to go out and just look amazing against Jared Cannonier, put on the best performance of my life, which I'm gonna do. And that's where my focus ends, really, because the rest is not in my control. And I'm sure if I do that, the rest will fall into place. I know that Trilogy without a sign is going to happen. When, I don't know, but it's not if, it's when. And so yeah, that's where my focus is at. And I know, yeah, it's a bit of a tough spot, but in reality, even as me as a career in where I'm at, I wanted to fight Cannonier because he's one of the best. It's probably the only one that I haven't fought in the top 5, and that's a fight that excites me. That's all I need, to be honest. I'm not overthinking that too much, and at the same time, I know for a fact that if I go out and just put on a great performance, come out with a dominant win or a finish or something, it's not even a question that I'm going to be in title talks, So it's all about going out, putting on great performances, and looking great against the best. That's it, really. The rest will come.
Well, the odds makers have you very close. You're at -120s, -106. Do you pay attention to odds at all? And probably a horrible question, but do you bet on yourself?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But nah, not really. I mean, bookmakers know what's up and they know it's gonna be a close fight, but nah, not really, man. I was the underdog for a long time. Then I was the favorite for a long time. Then I was I don't. To be honest, I mean, the odds starts early on too, but to be honest, almost 10 days before the fight, I turned off my phone. I got my guy next to me that becomes my phone, and if anything's important comes up, he's hey, you got this guy asking this, but yeah, I don't watch anything of that. I feel like as a competitor, your attention cannot shift on others' opinion.
One of the funniest things I've seen in a long time is I think her name is Danielle. She tried to fool you into eating Olive Garden.
Oh yeah,
you're like nope. MadLab, you would have loved this as an Italian yourself. She tried to say that she made a homemade meal from her Italian grandmother's recipe, and Marvin looked at it and said, "I'm not even eating that." And she goes, "You're right, it's an Olive Garden." And he said, "My Italian food 6 cents came in, my Spidey sense came."
So Marvin, when you fight ends, you get your hand raised. What's the first thing that you eat? And I'm not talking about at a restaurant. I'm talking about like when you're home, something Italian, something homemade. What's like your go-to?
I always say like the best thing, but it's also because in my mind, I go back home and all my buddies from back home come to my mom's house. She's always cooking like we're also known up north. We're known for like like down in the south they call it terroni. Up in the north they call us polentoni because we like polenta. So I love polenta and they call it spezzatino. It's kind of like a stew.
Yeah, sure.
And then my mom always made like like my granddad is like a hunter. He always bring like either like you can make it of deer or like you can make it sometimes normal beef or you can make it out of like a rabbit and then so like that that's probably my meal my go-to meal. But I have a good nutrition and it doesn't really make me starve like where like I don't have variety on my diet. So I'm not one of those guys like that like crave food. Of course I feel hungry, but it's not like I'm not one of those guys. I used to, but it doesn't fucks with your head. So I stopped doing it. Like to have like a list of like the food that you're gonna have. But that's definitely like polenta spezzatina is probably the dish that I love the most.
I love that. There's a place in New York. If you're ever in New York, next time if you ever come to the Garden or something like that, it's a restaurant that not a lot of people know about. It's called Peasant. And basically what it is, they serve it's a really nice restaurant, but they serve all the old school game, squab, rabbit, everything, venison, everything. They serve it all under an open flame in New York. If you're ever in New York, you definitely got to check that place out.
Bro, like I was in New York. I love New York actually. And New York got good food. New York got great food, to be honest.
Great food.
It's not hard to find good food in New York. Like if you know where to look for, you can find good food. I have a good friend. He's actually from my same hometown, and he has like a restaurant there. It's called Bar Italia, and I was having very good food.
Excellent.
So yeah. I love New York, man. Like there's like even like I don't know much like the geography like to move around. I was always like putting on Google Maps, but like walking around that area, I got an eye now. I can tell like if like if it's good or not. Like, even just walking by, I could tell like there was a lot of like good places to go eat. Good Italian places.
Last question for you. A couple days away from your fight, what's the most important thing that you bring into fight week that you have to do every time? Maybe it's a ritual. Maybe it's just maybe it's superstition. What do you have for fight week that is unique to you?
Not really anything in particular. I just try to like be even more aware of everything that goes on in my mind and to have my moments, to be alone and just like to visualize. But I don't really have like I always this was my grandfather. I always bring it with me everywhere I go. But like it's not really just fight week; it's all the time. Fight week will make you feel some kind of way, regardless of whatever you bring into it. I feel like so you don't have to force it to make you like to make you feel like it's fight week. So
right. Well, if we ever meet you in person, we're going to be you, me, Mike Madlab, and Jean Vellante. Jean Vellante.
For sure.
We'll go have a nice Italian meal in Manhattan.
Absolutely.
And have a good
Jean
time.
Vellante is crazy, bro. Yeah,
sure. I know. I've been
guy.
out with Jean Vellante. He's a crazy guy.
Yeah, I have this this thing in my mind where I remember when it was like the UFC retreat, the first time they opened the UFC Performance Institute, they all brought us in. And Jean Vellante is there having fun. And he goes up and he grabs this but he's high, but he's tall. And he's grabbing this the bar to like the pull-up bar kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's been having a few drinks. He grabs it, he swings, he fucking fell, man, like bad on his back on the floor. And I'm like, fuck, bro, he killed himself. Like I didn't even know him, but I saw him from like a bit far away, and I saw him like landing like flat on his back. I'm like, shit. And then he just got up and just like kept on going. So like, okay, he's good. But yeah, then I met him a feal times, but now he's a good guy. Sure.
You've got to see him and Chris Weidman. When they have a few drinks in them, it gets crazy. And then Al Iaquinta, you add Al in that mix, and man, it is a good time. And of course,
you know what they remind me of? They remind me of Rico Rodriguez in a way.
Oh yeah,
I went out with him a couple times in New York, dude. He's trying to beat up doors that are closed. He's crazy.
We need to get Renzo Gracie too.
Oh yeah, Henzo's my instructor. So Henzo's my
really?
he's my good man. He's a great friend of mine. Well, Marvin, thank you so much for coming on the show. Have a great time Saturday night. I look forward to your fight. You're always entertaining. I'm sure it's going to be a great fight with Cannonier. He's, like you said, it's going to be a close fight, and may the best man win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. Good luck, my brother.
Thank you, Marvin. Take care.